Number one, what would you do as mayor to entice young people to stay in or relocate to Anniston? How do you feel about things such as outdoor cafes, brew pubs, etc.? And I'm going to add to that the Ladiga Trail and such things as that would bring younger people to live in Anniston. Mr. Bradford, the question goes to you first.
I'm glad you're addressing the part of the young people because they are the future of this city, and if we don't, our city would fail. Now, you know, a lot of times we talk about our schools, and I say to the people that's on the board, in order to deal with our school, first you have to stop that flood of young people leaving this town. Now, as I look again over this room here, not many of us are going to be having more babies. I know I'm not. I know I'm not. So we have to do something to encourage young people, some type of incentive to keep our young people here at home, to give them something to why they really want to stay here. And to me, those are opportunities. Those are opportunities. Young people are the ones that need the schools. Young people are the ones that need the homes. Unfortunately, we have too many vacant lots here. That's why I said a minute ago, skills to build. With a good skilled job, those young people can make enough money to purchase home. When you purchase home, you pay taxes. Those taxes pay for the school. The extra revenue from the money that they make with those skills, they can shop around town. And in the meantime, those young people who are crowded into these so-called projects, the projects, they need out of there. With a good skilled job, they'll come out on a home, out of the project, they're relieved from the federal government from having to have those homes in there, and it kills, and also we won't have to have as many public services that we need for our people. So skilled jobs, in my opinion, as mayor of this city, will be my first 4 years of hard working on it, because if our young people don't make it, our city doesn't make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford. Mr. Locklier. The cultural life of Anniston, how do we make it more attractive to young people?
I think culture is one of our strong points. I think we've got unused, untapped opportunity. The Monteith Theater out at Fort McClellan, I think we've got a lot of great things and possibilities for the downtown area. You know, we need to expose kids to different things. I've talked with a lot of people in a lot of different areas of town that are really concerned about the youth in our town. And exposing them to other things other than the lifestyle that they're in is extremely critical. And some of these guys are doing great jobs as coaches and leaders. And I think one of the programs I'd like to institute if becoming mayor is to help more youth have more programs, year-round recreational programs, and maybe do it through church leagues and things like that, so that we can help those kids develop in a spiritual, and a physical, and a mental capacity that they need to see other things that are going on. You know, everybody needs to be exposed to it. I went to China and for 4 years and lived over there. I was exposed to an entirely different culture, and it changed me altogether. Once I learned there are different ways of doing things, and 1.3 billion people, they don't really care what we do here in the U.S. They have their own way of doing things, and it works out just fine. So I think, you know, culture, arts, youth recreation, those are the type of things that we really got to focus on as a city, because we've only got one chance at getting those children. My wife taught school at 10th Street Elementary, and you know, our hearts went out to those kids. I drive to work every day. I see kids without a place to play basketball and out in the streets. So we just got to do some things to help them. And so arts is one of the ways that we can help them, and exposing them to leaders and to people that are going to work with them, and helping those groups that are out there already helping kids. So youth is very critical to our growth in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Locklier. Mr. James, the question goes to you for our cultural life in Anniston.
Everything that we propose costs money. Again, show me the money. Where is it going to come from? Again, it goes back to my opening statement. We cannot provide the goods and services for our citizens without an adequate tax base. I want you to look at my wall card without me going into it too deeply. One of my proposals is, and this is a doable deal, when I served on the Calhoun County Steering Committee, I was also at the same time serving on the Fort McClellan Redevelopment and Reuse Authority. Dr. McGee, who was the president of Jacksonville State University at that point in time, had agreed to move the sports arena, i.e. the basketball court, to Anniston, and we proposed to do a joint venture with them, a civic center / performing arts center. That one move alone That one move alone turned the entire city of Chattanooga around. That was the catalyst that made Chattanooga what it is today. That alone could do the same thing for our city. All right, a little history. What happened to the Shakespeare Festival? It left Anniston because it did not have a proper venue. Now, with the cloud hanging over what we're going to do with the school system, what we're going to rebuild, the Knox concert, which is a shining star in our crown, they're scared they're going to lose their venue. So they're exploring, out of necessity, where it's going to be their new home. So they go to Oxford and they talk to Oxford about maybe the possibility of having it down there. But without going into any more details. So we have got to address these issues, and we've got to do them in a realistic manner. It's great to say that we want this and we want that. I'd like to go down to Dave Mashman's tonight after this and eat lunch, or eat dinner rather. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to go to the McDonald's drive-thru and eat off the dollar menu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. Mr. Stewart, what would you do to help bring young people back to Anniston?
Well, certainly that is not the case today. I've got a 23-year-old son that finished school here, and his current plans are not to return to Anniston. We've got to make it attractive to return to Anniston, just like we need to make it attractive to do business in Anniston, for industries to relocate in Anniston. We've got to make it attractive for our young people. Now, how do you do that? I go back to the three key focus areas: strong schools, safe streets, steady jobs. Vocational training at Anniston High School is a must. We need to begin that. We need to basically strengthen that program. We need to encourage the top 100 club. That's the academic club. That's the top 25 in 9th through 12th grade. We need to encourage reading in the elementary age to make lifetime learners. Get them excited about school so they will go ahead and graduate from high school and get a vocational certificate or a college degree. That's crucial. I mean, I think you've got to go back to why they're not returning. A lot of them are not equipped with the necessary tools: education, life skills, job skills. So we've got to make sure we're not doing fair by our kids, as far as we're not providing them the opportunities in the education arena. Arts are important. They bridge cultural and economic differences. Arts in the school, very important. Anniston has always been an arts town dating back to its founding. And obviously we want to continue that. And we kicked around Chattanooga, Asheville, North Carolina. I know Asheville did this. They invited young artists into into Asheville years ago and rebuilt the downtown based upon the arts, and let them live in the vacant houses that had been abandoned.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you.
And now we go to Mr. Ray with the same question about Anniston's cultural life.
First of all, I started dealing with young people in the 9th grade. It's been many years ago. Now, I never understood why all these ballparks closed up. I never understood why the park police was taken off the parks. You have to have some type of activity to attract young folks back to school. Now, they built a multi-million-dollar complex out there next door to we. What is that? We need something in Anniston, not next door to another city. Now, fairground, you got a place out to the porch. They will be glad to go out. They want somewhere to go, something to do. I mean, talking about young people. I prefer, I know it's not a question, but I don't think it's going to be asked tonight, so I'm going to kind of ease off a little bit and say, all this heat this summer that we had, who looked out for the senior citizens? We can't forget our senior citizens. I mean, young folks fine. But since we're on that subject, I feel I guess, have paid that long. Nobody asked anything about the senior citizen. Well, I tell you, if I'm elected mayor, and we have another heat spell, something gonna be open cool for you all. Thank you.
Mr. Norton, a question about our cultural life in Anniston, how to bring in more young people.
Well, I think the development of cultural products and aspects of cultural life is very, very vitally important. And I think that we need to do any and everything we can to do that, and I think that can be an integral part of the revitalization of the downtown area. Loft apartments. But also, I look across this room and I see a lot of people that are in various civic clubs with me, some from my church and otherwise. We have to improve education, because if young people want to live in Anniston, they want to have a good educational system for their children. And young people are the age people that create children. And they all can't afford private school. So I think almost any question asked evolves around into a circle to improving the public school system. And we have almost every elementary school in the public school system of Anniston adopted by a church and a civic club, or 2 churches. We've got 4. We will have 6. And they have tutoring programs, and they have mentoring programs, and they are making substantial progress. And progress breeds enthusiasm, which breeds progress. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Ms. Goodman, the question goes to you. How do we bring more young people into Anniston by offering them cultural activities?
That's a good question. I have the young people at heart. One of the things that I was concerned about is, when I was getting to look at the candidates for the mayor position, I looked at the age of all of us, and that's why one of the things I proposed to get young people even involved in our government. So there'll be more. But the thing that I believe that we need to do is talk to the young people, see what they're concerned, see what their interests, see what do we believe, see what they're saying we can do. Cultural arts, they are good. Performance arts are good. We need to see what can we offer. And I believe with the next council, when we come together, put our heads together, maybe we can decide on some things, or come together on some things that will maybe bring more activities for our children in this area.
Thank you, Ms. Goodman. Mr. Salmon, it's your turn to answer the question.
I believe part of the question that you haven't repeated since the first part was microbreweries. You'll have to educate me on that, Mike, but I know you're probably an expert. The best industry, we've talked a lot about industrial development, we've talked about retail development. The best, the very best, is tourism. Anybody will tell you that that's in the business. They come with a good deal of money, they spend it, they leave, they don't tear up your infrastructure, you don't have to educate their children. It's an absolute win-win situation. After that is retirement. That's the second best industry you can have. I think we're in pretty good shape on both of those. And I think the tourism part is well on its way to being a real attraction for younger people coming back. The Coldwater Bike Trail is just an absolute godsend. I mean, it's great. And you pair that with the Ladiga Trail, it's something, I'm not going to be riding up Coldwater, but 20 and 30-year-olds will. It gives them something to do when they get here. Now, culturally, I'm on the Knox Concert Series Advisory Board and the Auxiliary Board. And I can tell you that we're making a move, and Julia can back me up on this, to start attracting or bringing acts in that are more attractive to a younger generation. And in fact, this year when we make the final announcement, I've seen it, I'm not at liberty to tell you, we're going to have a heck of a program that all age groups are going to like. And I think that's going to be the situation from here on out. We know it has to be done. And, you know, there's all kinds of things going on. I think it'll continue to feed off of itself, and it'll bring more and more in, and I'm just glad we're on that track.
Thank you, Mr. Sankey. Mr. Robinson, how do we attract more people, more young people? What kind of cultural life? And I will repeat what was put on the card. It was the microbreweries and city cafes were on there.
You made up that microbrewery.
I did not make that up. I promise you, I swear, I did not make up that question. It came from one of you out there.
What the administration has done, especially in the last year, y'all all know everyone's mentioned Coldwater Mountain Bike Trail. That was phase 1. We've got phase 2, 3, and 4 in completion in the plans in our 5-year capital improvement plan. So that is going to come to fruition, and it is important. I mentioned the July Music Festival. Children and people, kids of all ages love music. So Robert Jackson and the group, we're going to let them really boost them in the music area, and I hope that that's going to birth more musical events. Kids cast, I think that's important. Outside agency funding, as we get more money, we give them more money. The Splash Park, we've already got one at Norwood. It was just dedicated last week. Zen Park will be coming this coming year, 13. And then all rec centers are going to have a mini splash park. It's important. Fred Couch came to us about Adventure Park. We're looking at that. We're studying that. Also, I think that we really need to look strong at another Fred Couch idea. Skateboard park that they have in Weaver is very, very successful. I want one in this city. And also a bike park, an X game type jumping park. Now, you know I don't do that sort of thing, but I like to watch it on TV. And I think the kids would come here. This would become a mecca for kids with a Coldwater Mountain Bike Park and all this other venues. I think we can really attract American youth to this city. It's important. God bless everybody here.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. And now, Ms. Welch, how do we improve the cultural life of Anniston?
And bring youth in?
And bring youth, exactly.
Okay, I want to make sure I have both sides of that question this time. I know what a microbrewery is, and I know that we had a local businessman that wanted to bring a microbrewery to downtown. But the permitting process and the hurdles that had to be jumped over were just too much, and he chose not to do it. He wasn't able to do it. And I think that these processes and procedure need to be looked at to make sure that we don't keep people from coming in that want to develop in our city. You know, depending on which side of the fence you're talking about, if you're someone wanting to open a business, I hear constantly that it's too hard to do that in Anniston. And then if you hear from the City Hall side, they say that's absolutely not true. I think we have a problem because either it is too hard to do it or either the perception's too hard to do it. Either way, we have a problem and we're going to have to fix it because we prevent business from coming in because of this. As far as getting youth here, we have got to redevelop our city, and the leadership that goes in place is responsible for doing this. There is a lot of interest from our young people. As far as the cultural opportunities, we have a lot in Anniston, but downtown is a huge opportunity. for an arts and entertainment district, a cultural arts center. And I'm all about it. I just don't talk the talk, I walk the walk. I have a loft apartment downstairs, downtown. I do have a business on Noble Street, and I do host our only local art gallery in my business. I have been there in the trenches for over 14 years and have seen the roadblocks that City Hall has put before us. We've got to remove these roadblocks and allow business to develop in Anniston.